Hey Evergreen, we're going to do chapter 5, lessons 8 and 9 today because they are so easy. So we're going to learn squaring a binomial and factoring trinomial squares. Let's go. So first we're going to focus on binomial squares. And so you can see with the star on the left, these are examples of binomials squared. So x plus 5 squared means in the middle here, you see, look, it says x plus 5 times x plus 5. So you see how this is a binomial, two terms squared. This is it written out longwise. And then this is a perfect square trinomial. And the reason it's a perfect square trinomial is because we started with a binomial squared. So we're going to work on both of these parts. So first we're going to work with binomial squared, and then the second half of our lesson we're going to learn to work with a perfect squared trinomial and work backwards to the binomial squared. Okay, so on page 198 we're going to do numbers 1 through 9 odds. So number 1 says x plus 9 squared. So the first thing I want you to do whenever you see this problem, instead of writing it like this, I want you to go ahead and write it out long ways. X plus 9 times x plus 9. Then we're going to distribute this just like we have been doing for days and days. So we're going to do x times x, then x times 9. 9 times x, then 9 times 9. We write down all of those answers. Now we're going to combine like terms. 9x plus 9x is 18x. This is our trinomial. So we went from a binomial squared now to we have a perfect squared trinomial. Number 3, x minus 10 squared. We're going to rewrite this the long way. Don't even bother writing it the other way to save yourself time. X minus 10 times x minus 10, x times x times negative 10. Negative 10 times x, negative 10 times negative 10. Write down your answers. Then combine your like terms. Negative 10 plus negative 10 is negative 20. So we started with a squared binomial and we ended with a perfect squared trinomial. Number 5. We're going to do this the same way even though we have a 5 as a coefficient with our x. So we have 5x plus 6. Go ahead and write it out all the way. 5x plus 6 times 5x plus 6. Let's multiply. 5x times 5x is 25x. 5x times 6, 30x. 6 times 5x, 30x. 6 times 6, 36. Add your like terms. 25x squared plus 60x plus 36. Great job. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so we are going to move on to number 7. 4x minus 7 squared. Write it out the long way. 4x minus 7 times 4x minus 7. Multiply. 4x times 4x. 4x times negative 7. Negative 7 times 4x. Negative 7 times negative 7. You should have these numbers written down after you have solved those multiplication problems. Let's combine our like terms. Negative 28 plus negative 28 is negative 56. Our final answer is 16x squared minus 56x plus 49. Okay, last one on this set. This time we have the constant first and then the variable, but is this okay? Yes. Solve it the same way. Write it out the long way. 6 minus x times 6 minus x. 6 times 6. 6 times negative x. Negative x times 6. Negative x times negative x. You should have this written down after you've shown your work. Let's combine our like terms. We have two negative 6x's, which will make negative 12x. So we have it written like this. We could keep it like this and this would be perfectly fine. I would put a great big check mark next to it. But if you don't like the way this looks, you want to put it the normal way, you may. All you would do is rewrite this with x squared first minus 12x plus 36. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the second part of our lesson, perfect square trinomials. So now we're going to start with the trinomial and work all the way backwards to a binomial squared. You see how we did these on the same day and why we did them on the same day? Let's get started. So before we get started though, let's look at this. These are square roots. So the square root of 4 is 2. And you see how it makes a perfect square of 2 on every side, equaling 4. That's what a square root is. It's a perfect square. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 16 is 4, and you can keep going. And then on the right side, we have the same thing written out with an exponent. So 2 squared, 3 squared, 4 squared. So squared and the square root are the opposites. It's either doubling by its same self, its base, or it is dividing by its base. And here they are written out differently. Okay, so later we're going to play a game with our square roots and our exponents. So that's just a little bit of a preview and a reminder. So let's turn to page 204 now, and we're going to do numbers 1 through 11 odds. We're going to work fast so we can play our game. And because it's so easy. So number 1, x squared plus 6x plus 9. We're going to factor this. So remember, we're going to look at 9 first. That's where our eyes go first. And we need to multiply, figure out the two numbers that multiply to 9 and add to 6. And those, of course, are 3. So we have x plus 3 times x plus 3. And remember, we're trying to make a binomial squared. So we're going to write this once with a square. Understand how we're doing the opposite now? Awesome. So let's do number 3. X squared minus 10x plus 25. Eyes go to 25. Let's focus on that. What two numbers multiply to 25 and add to negative 10? This is that little tricky part when they have a negative here. So you need to pay attention. What could it be? Oh, it's easy. X minus 5 times x minus 5. Rewrite this as a squared binomial. Number 5, x squared plus 16x plus 64. Look at 64. What numbers multiply to 64 and add to 16? Well, 8, of course. X plus 8. X plus 8 squared. Number 7. X squared minus 4x plus 4. Ooh, what could we multiply for 4 that adds to negative 4? Well, 2 negative 2's. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. Rewrite this as a squared binomial. Awesome job. Number 9, x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now, the only way to get 1 multiplying is 1, right? But we have to add to a negative 2. And so this gives us a clue that we are going to have a negative 1 times negative 1 for a 1, and negative 1 plus negative 1 for our negative 2 x term. Rewrite this as a squared binomial. Awesome. Last one. X squared minus 8x plus 20. What two numbers multiply for 20 that add to 8? Could it be 20 and 1? No. 10 and 2? Let's see. Negative 10 times positive 2. Negative 10 times negative 2. No, that would not add to negative 8. Okay, what about 5 and 9? Or 5 and 4, sorry. Nope. So guess what? This is a prime. It will not factor any further. So now it's time to play a square root memory game. You are amazing. You did a great job. Bye.